Wonderful. So I'm the point person to kick things off. So welcome everyone. Welcome to our February meeting. Hope everyone's doing well in this new year. Happy Lunar New Year. My name's Nico. I'm here with Anna and soon to be Shannon. We are TAMALES, which is the Texas Assistive Makers Technology Makers Alliance. I flip-flop words. This is kind of our intro page. I'm not sure if everyone can access our PowerPoints. We can try to make them available on our platforms that we have for everyone to use. But yeah, this is our website. This is who we are. This is what we do. Well, I'll go more into detail, but yeah, welcome everyone. So this is our conference with Viva La Vida AT 2026. We already have the dates picked out and where we're going to be at. So it's the annual statewide AT conference here in Texas. It'll be hosted as we have the last few years at the J.J. Pickle Research Campus. We are taking presenters. Anna, maybe you can comment a little bit more about this, but I think we're still taking presenters and submissions at the moment. And we'll have an exhibition hall showcasing all the technologies that are latest and greatest around the country and in the world. And then we're also going to have a makerspace that we did for the first time. We did it last year and it was a great success. And we're going to do it again this year. So,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, call for presenters. So if anyone's interested, yeah, it's on our website, to put that in, request. So
yeah, and when I stop talking, I can drop in the link. So, next slide. Double check your calendars. So now we have shifted things a little bit. It was the second Tuesday of every month from 3:30 to 4:30. Now we're doing the third Tuesday of every month from 11:30 to 12:30. Try to be a little more accommodating of folks' times. Oh, there goes my sensor. So yeah, trying to be accommodating of everyone's times. And hopefully a working lunch is better adjusted for folks. Our next meeting is March 17th. And then we'll revisit this again for next year, just to make sure that we're accommodating for the best time that everyone can meet. So, and to go over our mission again for the folks in the back that are new, our mission is to create a network of Texan makers that supports all folks with disabilities, including folks with disabilities, and through collaboration to design unique tools and solutions to promote independence in their lives. So, yeah, pretty straightforward. And then AT is everywhere. We've always had these slides up just to remind folks to keep an eye out and ear out and all senses out for technology as it relates to access, vision, communication, organization, reading, writing, safety, and all the other things. So our agenda for today, as always, new connections. We do have a presentation from Hope and Braden today and the robotic arm. And then we have ATIA update. We have Anna and Angela were able to go to ATIA this past year, so we'll kind of talk about that. And then we'll share new resources, and then as always, tech and tell. So, all right. So anyone that is a new member, you're most welcome to type it in the chat, or if you want to come off mic, you're welcome to. But these are just some prompts, some questions for you to get started. What part of Texas are you from? Are you not from Texas? How did you hear about us? And then what is your favorite maker tool? And then do you have a goal for this year so far as from a maker standpoint? We're here in Austin. That's where we're at. We're at UT Austin. Um, and yeah, anyone else want to present?
Yeah, I'm in Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, and I connected with Shannon on LinkedIn. She saw one of our AT videos that we made for the health science program here. And favorite maker tool, I'm not totally sure, actually. I'm pretty new to assistive technology as of the last year. Um, so I guess maybe like magnetic buttons for like shirts make it easier. And maker goal, just keep learning more about AT and keep collaborating.
Share it. Anyone else?
And introduce myself. Good morning, everyone. My name's Eric Chovery. I'm actually working toward my clinical social work license. Uh, Not a maker per se, but more of just like trying to learn what resources could be useful for students that we work with. So I work here with Trio Student Sports Services. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that program. A lot of people have heard of Trio Upward Bound, but we are
Mm.
the grad program that serves students with documented disabilities and students who are first gen in their families and students who are economically disadvantaged. So we can't. I was just trying to like do research. I was doing research on like any Texas grants that existed, for um, programs to help our students with disabilities. And then I came across you guys, and I was like, oh, this is neat. We also have like a monthly trio alliance meeting, so this seems like it's in a similar format where people come together to just talk about these things. But no, I'm happy to be here. And my colleague Roberto's here also. Put him on the spot.
Yeah, so I'll jump right in. Why not? Hello, good morning. My name is Roberto Macias Marin. I'm a colleague of Eric as well, so I'm the grant coordinator here for the TRIO SSS grant at St. Mary's University. We're based in San Antonio, Texas as well. But yeah, originally from El Paso. I'm also fairly new to this whole the 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 innovation about new technologies for students with disabilities. So it's actually I'm very excited because this is an area that I'm not familiar with at all. So I'm always willing and happy to learn new information. So I'm excited for the upcoming presentation and good to meet you all.
Yeah, nice meeting y'all. I guess, yeah, just to provide kind of general basic background about us. So we are kind of the state authority for assistive technology here in Texas. Every state has a program like us, even including the territories. And the idea is that it's kind of like a check-in, check-out library. You check things out, you try them out for 30 days, see if it works for you, and then you just return it back, and we give you all the shipping and handling to deal with that. So you don't have to, so a dime doesn't have to come out of your pocket. So we have all types of AT that serves all types of disabilities. You can check out our loan library and see what may suit you or your students with disabilities. Um, yeah, there's just a kind of a little quick and dirty about elevator pitch about us. Anyone else that's new? I don't think so. Just looking at the roster. Um, but yeah, thank you for introducing yourselves. And I think are the presenters here, Anna?
Yes, Hope is here. But
Wonderful.
I want to say, yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. We're happy to have you here. And then I will let Hope
Hey,
uh,
good. Well,
introduce.
good.
And all right, Hope, I will give you the floor.
Okay, so I'm Hope, and Braden unfortunately had something come up, so he wasn't able to come. But Braden is the computer science student, a part of the project we're doing. So, like I said, I'm in Missouri at the University of Mizzou, and I'm in the Assistive Technology Adaptation and Training Lab, which is run by Dr. Bill Janes. He's an occupational therapist here in Missouri, and like I said, Braden's the computer science student, and right now we're working on a robotic arm project. And it's just the three of us so far that are the main ones doing most of the hands-on work. But then there's other people that we're collaborating with as well. I have a presentation. I don't know if I'm able to share it.
You should be able to request it. And then
Okay,
yeah.
sweet. Okay. So yeah, apologies though if there might be some computer science questions that I don't have the best answer for, but I'll do my best. Okay. Can you guys see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Great. Okay, so is the Zoom thing in the way at all, or can you see the whole page?
You can see the whole thing.
Sweet. Okay. So we're exploring how the standard Open 101 arm could be used as AT for people with upper extremity disabilities. The SO 101 arm is a robotic arm that was made by Hugging Face, which is a open source machine learning and robotics company. The SO101 came out, I think, in the past few years. It's fairly new. Um, and this project is run, like I said, by Dr. Bill Janes, and then me and Braden are working on it. I am I never said who I am, but I just graduated with my health science degree, and then I'm going to occupational therapy school either in the summer or the fall. All depends on scholarships, but that's me. And then this is our project. So what I'm going to go over is just kind of the structure of, what we bought and what we made in the lab to put the arm together. Going to talk about function, just general machine learning that's involved, applications like how this arm would be used hypothetically, and then the arms on the market, and then the progress we made so far. So before I get into it, I just wanted to say thanks to Mo Better Foundation. It's a disability organization here in Missouri. They provided funding for us to do this, which is fantastic. And they also provide a lot of support for people with disabilities. And then also Hugging Face as well. They're the ones who made the design and also really lowered the barrier for people wanting to get into robotics, which is great for me because prior to this, had no experience in robotics. But Hugging Face has a whole bunch of free tutorials, videos, and a Discord help chat. So this is the general kind of anatomy of the arm. It's fairly simple. I assembled it in the lab, and it took about 1 hour to make to put together the arm. It's a humanoid kind of robotic look. It has 6 degrees of freedom. Each motor acts as a joint. So at the elbow, it bends and flexes, wrist flexes, it supinates and pronates, and then the base rotates so it could turn side to side. So those are the motors that kind of act as the joints, and then it's made out of PLA. So we 3D printed it here in the lab. And there's actually, I don't know if you can still see my screen, but the 3D printers that we used are behind me. And then so it's the motors, the PLA, the wires, and then we ordered just some, screws and some bolts. It wasn't that hard to put together. It was kind of like a Lego set, honestly. And then Braden, the computer science student, he was the one to connect it to the computer. Additional hardware that you would need to create the SO101, the motor control board, which is attached to the arm. So this is how the computer sends signals to the motor control board, and then the motor control board commands each servo to move. So it can tell it what specific places to be at. And then you need a USB-C. So this is how the computer talks to the motor control board. And then finally, the arms are powered by either 5 volts or 12 volts. So while you're looking at the arm, you might be wondering if would actually be functional. I don't know if you guys know about a lot of the AT arms on the market already, but this one is considerably smaller and considerably less, I'd say, technical. But the good thing about this arm is that there's a lot of variations that we can make to it, especially since we built it in the lab. So something as simple as color. Let's say somebody doesn't like the white, we could just print a different PLA color. There's a lot of alternative cameras. So in order for it to see and actually do a task for somebody, we can add different types of cameras on. And then the gripper as well. So there's right now 2 prongs on it. But if we find that this becomes kind of an issue when doing specific tasks, we could also 3D print an additional prong or maybe change the gripper completely. Arms, wires could be changed. We could figure out ways to cover it. The whole point of this slide is just to show that it's really customizable. And one big thing we try to do in the AT lab is make user-centered designs and make it so we can have not just send out a whole bunch of different products that are the same, but make sure that depending on the individual, it can meet their specific needs. So this is kind of an overview of how it actually functions and how we train it. So there's a leader arm and there's a follower arm. So the leader arm, which is the black one, it acts as a controller. Not everyone uses another arm. You could just use the computer to control it, but we decided to have both arms. And then the follower arm, the white one, this would be the prototype, what we would actually give to someone for assistive technology. and it's completely operated by the leader arm. And so the general process of how you would train it to do a task in the most basic sense from somebody who's not a computer science student is you teleoperate it. So this is when you as the researcher are manually operating the black leader arm and you're moving it to control the follower arm. And you would record, let's say you want to teach it to pick up a cup. So you would hit record on the command system. You'd operate it with the leader arm, pick up a cup, put it down, and you do that like 50 times, maybe more than that. You'd take all of that recorded data and you'd put it on Hellbender, which is the machine learning software that we're using. Hellbender is then going to take all that recorded data and turn it into a model. And so a model is pretty much kind of like a recipe that tells the arm what it can do. It's a file with very specific, refined details about how to pick up a cup without as much human error in a more smooth, fluid way. And then finally, you'd get to autonomy, hopefully. And that's hands off. So then you would input that model that that Hellbender made. You'd hit run, hands off, and you'd watch it hopefully successfully pick up a cup. This is kind of another example of what we're doing. So you start with recording the task, you're manually operating it, then you're going to refine it on your machine learning software. And then you take that refined data, put it back in, and you hopefully watch it do it by itself. There's a whole bunch of links because it took me a while to figure this out. uh, this is a slide that Braden made. I cannot explain it, but I can say that there are different models that you can use to train an arm, and the one that we're using is the ACT model. So I'm going to skip that for now. So real world applications. So we're trying to figure out what task we actually want it to do, and then also figure out what can it do. So like I said, this arm was made by Hugging Face, so this isn't our design. And also Hugging Face isn't necessarily a disability group or organization. They're just a robotics group. And so we're trying to see how can we make this robotic arm assistive technology. And the way that we're trying to figure out its task are by the few bullet points I put here. So we did 2 surveys. One survey was for specifically occupational therapy practitioners and OTA practitioners, just asking them if you had an arm and you had a patient, a robotic arm, what would you want it to do? And then we're also trying to put together a focus group and advisory group to get more answers on what the task could be. And then in addition to the practitioner survey, we also did just a family and friends survey, just asking them, what would you want this arm to do? And then hopefully after all these surveys and groups, we can come together with like a solid list of what task we want it to do. I put a few here that we already got back. I have a friend who uses a power chair, and they said that turning on switches and pressing elevator buttons can be difficult at times, and it would be nice if the arm could do that. Someone suggested maybe allowing it to help somebody eat, or potentially having it just hold your phone or probably not take a picture, but just hold your phone or move it closer for you. So I don't know how much you guys know about the arms on the market now, but these are some 3 really popular ones. There's the Jayco, iArm, and Orthopus. They're all connected to power chairs, and they're also all very large and expensive. These aren't all the arms on the market, but these are the most popular ones. So something about these arms that are really great right now is that they're multi-purposeful. So since they're so big and they have an ability to carry more and hold more and reach further, they can be used for a lot of things. So picking stuff up off a shelf at the grocery store, or feeding somebody, holding a water bottle, no matter how heavy or how large it is. And so those are some of the pros if you are a power chair user who wants a multi-use arm. Some of the cons are the size and the cost. So like I said, I have a couple friends who are power chair users, and they said that the cost is a really big barrier to wanting to get into using these arms. And not only the cost, but since they're so large, power chairs are already very big and hard to move around, and not all doors are ADA friendly. And so having an additional thing on your power chair that's that big could be a barrier for people. The cost of some of these arms right now are between $25,000 and $500,000, and it's not guaranteed to have these be insured. I know when I was looking this up, there was testimony from someone who was using the iArm, and they're really happy with it. They're really excited, but they said that it took months and months for insurance to actually cover it. So that's where the SO101 comes in. Its size is relatively small and it's very compactable. So that could be, make it a lot easier for people with power chairs, to put it on their chair and get into places more easily. And then also cost, because Hugging Face is open source and has all these resources for you to kind of DIY it yourself. It's a lot more affordable. This Actually, the name of the arm, SO101, it was originally called SO100 because they were referencing about $100 starting point to put together one arm. The 101 is an upgraded version of it, so it's a little more expensive, but the total cost for one arm uh, would be $121. Obviously, that doesn't include the computer and all the other stuff that comes into putting it together, but just hardware-wise, it's significantly more affordable. These are just a few pictures of what we've done so far. So we 3D printed it in the lab. We assembled it in the lab. That's Braden there in the blue jacket. He did the computer setup and configuration. We're teleoperating it. And finally, right now we're on the machine learning stage. So we have the machine learning software that we want to use, and we're just trying to figure out, what's the best way that we can train this? How can we get more people into actually teleoperate it? Like I said, you have to record a lot of data of manually doing it before you get a good final model. And then, of course, we're still figuring out what are the most kind of popular tasks people would want it to do. And then once we have that, we'll actually try implementing it and seeing, okay, can it actually pick up a fork this well, like 99% of the time? So what's next? Like I said, we're trying to put together an advisory group. We have a few people in mind already, a couple of friends who use power chairs, and then there's a disability advocate in St. Louis, and then the person who funded us, Mo Better. And then we're also going to try to put together a focus group with different disability organizations in town, getting caregivers' ideas, getting seniors' ideas, just trying to put together everyone's ideas so we can get a really user-centered design. Obviously, we still have to do a lot more machine learning to get it to a place where it can successfully do at least one task. Additional funding, of course, everything costs money. And then we want to expand the team. So like I said, it's the PI, it's me, it's Braden, but we need a lot more hands. So we're hoping to expand the team. And then finally, get people in to test it out and see once it does a few tasks, would people actually want this in their homes? And if so, let's keep this going and let's keep trying to find funding to make this a reality. And that is the PowerPoint. If I have time, I'd love to show you guys the arm in action. But do I have time? I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so right now you can see here this I have open on the computer. Braden made a user interface to help people. So let's say we want someone to come in the lab and help us train the arm that has no idea about computer science. It's a really friendly user interface that has just a few commands that would allow them to do a task and train it with us. So I'm going to run that and then I'll show you the arm. I'm going to try to have it demonstrate picking up a tissue. As somebody who was a caregiver for like 4 years, when I worked with a lot of seniors, they love tissues and they use them a lot. So I'm going to demonstrate that. I will be teleoperating it. Excuse me, sorry not to make you guys dizzy. I'm going to be teleoperating it behind the camera with the leader arm. You won't be able to see that, but you'll watch the follower arm. So just give me 1 second as it loads. Can you guys see the arm okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. 1 sec. It's configuring. And then I'll take any questions after I show this demo. Sorry, it's loading. For some reason, this section of the building has really slow Wi-Fi, so everything takes a while. All right. Yeah. Sorry, it is still loading. Okay, here we go. Oh no. Let me get it. Okay. Oh, I got it earlier. There we go. And then theoretically, I'd hand it to whoever would want it. Okay. So that's the arm in a nutshell. All right. So obviously right now, the way it functions has a lot to do with how good you are at teleoperating it. So ignore the faults there. But that is everything. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you so much, Hope. Like that was like it's an awesome project, so we're so
Yeah, of
glad
course.
to have you again. We did have one question in the chat I saw earlier. They were asking what are the dimensions of the arm?
Oh, that's a great question. I actually don't know off the top of my head. It's relatively small, like I said. This is kind of about how far a ruler and a half for height. But that is a guess. I should know that.
Thank you.
Oh, it definitely looks much smaller than I expected because, of course, in the slideshow you couldn't really tell, but no, that's much more compact for sure.
Mhm.
So, well done on that.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Dr.
Uh, Hope, this is Lee. I've been involved and trying to adapt various different things to prosthetic arm. Uh, we built prosthetic arm, but we were looking for a way to adapt
Mhm.
motorization to these robotic arms. And yours is small enough that maybe we could do something together with what we have.
Mhm.
So I'd like to find out more also to build these things and also to learn more. Um, Possible collaboration as well if you are interested. And we have a maker's lab here, fairly big, that we can do various different things. But we need some ideas, and your ideas was probably the most ideal because it's small. For the prosthetic arm, it can't be very big, and it can't be and I'm looking for to see if we can do it with mobilization, like we can move things along with a person who's walking around rather than just being stationary. And I like your computerization of all of this. This is a lot of things that I need to adapt. Can you help us on that to see what we can do? Because I think you have a lot of potential that we're very interested in. Is that okay? I mean,
Mhm.
perhaps Nico, can you perhaps give me contact information? I don't have your contact information yet. I just have this phone
Yeah,
number that you have here.
we'll facilitate contact info. Yeah. Yeah.
Would you help us?
Mhm.
I love to know more. I love to at least build one prototype and then see what we can adapt and what we can learn and so on, because there's a lot of things that might be useful. Even if we can't use the whole thing, we can use part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Good? Okay. Thank you so much. Nico, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you for sharing. Hope that I love just seeing demos like this. I love just going to conferences like that and just seeing it work in action. So I myself struggle with pulling out just one piece of tissue. Oh, hi, Shannon.
I've been sitting in my car. I got lost in the garage. So
Sorry about that.
I'm downtown Houston and I went to one garage that looked exactly like this building. All the buildings looked the same. And I got all the way to the 8th floor and it didn't look the same. So I had to go back down. So I apologize for being late. But I did hope get to see it. And that was phenomenal and better than what I even imagined. So you did a great job. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
And I put all of these links on the slide because we wanted people to have them. And we'll try to get this one, especially since it's recorded, onto the Padlet so that people can share it. And then Dr. Lee, I've got Hope's contact information, so we'll definitely set something up. And Hope, when Dr. Lee talks about the Maker Lab, this is a Maker Lab downtown Houston on steroids. It has like I don't know, 40 3D printers. It's really a magnificent space. So I think that's a great connection through this. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Is there like a link to the maker space?
Yeah, it's TXRX Labs. If you look up TX, and I'll send you a link after, but it's TXRX Labs Houston.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any last questions for Hope before we move on? Okay, and we'll try to put the links to in the chat before today, like the meeting ends. If not, then we'll be sure to add these to the Padlet as well. Okay, and so the next thing on our agenda would be the ATI show and tell. So one of the things that I found intriguing was how many makers there were at ATIA. I feel like it's more, I guess, like an up and coming thing. A lot of speakers and a lot of people at the Maker Day. And so I actually saw some projects or some highlights from that day. And then I have also a cool example of a school district in Georgia that's doing some awesome work too, connecting AT and then special education classrooms, like what we're trying to get going here in Texas. And so the first project is these are all microbits projects. So something that hopefully we can collaborate with and do something with our conference that's coming up. Do like one of these projects would be pretty cool. So for the mounting plate, it's pretty practical. The whole purpose is to help users who may not be able to hold or stabilize the microbit easily. So instead of the device sliding around or being hard to press, it gives like a secure base for the mount. And all of these links are in the Padlet, so that we'll be sure to add that also for people who aren't able to access it or don't have access yet. And then another project would be the one button Morse typewriter. So the idea is that someone can type using just a single button input, kind of like Morse code. And then the microbit translates that into a text. So it could be really interesting for someone who needs simplified input, and also a creative way to like rethink communication and typing access.
And I'm going to add to that, Anna. Prior to all of the devices that we had, SpeechPath back in the 80s, before you had the tech generation, we used to teach a stroke patient, someone who was locked in, to do either eye blink Morse code. So Morse code has been around for a long time, and it kind of went away when we had more modernized technology. And many speech pathologists feel it's an underutilized tool because it is a simple alphabet system that if you can teach someone who doesn't have a voice, it's a pretty powerful tool because it just follows the regular alphabet. And once they learn that alphabet, they can use the tiniest little switch to communicate. And now that this device can turn that into print so someone can read it, it's a game changer. There was a gentleman from Elle magazine that actually wrote a whole book through Morse code. And it's a powerful story. It's the Bell and the Butterfly. I'll put that in our next meeting, but Morse code is an underutilized tool. All right, back to you, Anna. Sorry.
Thank you. And there's like a couple more that I wanted to share with you. Again, these links show a step-by-step process and how to make these if you wanted to make them. Let's see. The next one is a Bluebit foot switch. So it uses a microbit with a standard guitar style foot switch. to create like a wireless Bluetooth switch. What's cool about this is that it can work as like a wireless input for a computer or tablet, so it's another flexible option for switch access. It's made using mate code, so it's pretty approachable for even beginners. And it's just a good example of how simple maker tools can turn something into like a practical like AT solution. And then the next thing is a microbit catapult. So this is more on the fun side, I would say. One of the examples is like a student with a physical disability can like take part in interactive STEM activities, right, alongside their peers using this kind of catapult, which would be switch adapted. So,
Or they can hit their teacher if they're mad at them.
and that too. Okay, and then the next one would be a joystick mouse. So I wanted to highlight this one because instead of just being a single switch, it can actually be programmed to control cursor movement. So that opens a lot of possibilities for students who might not be able to use a traditional mouse or trackpad. And again, it's simple, it's affordable, and it's really adaptable for classroom use as well.
And it can be adapted to the size of the child's hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is a game changer.
And then I also wanted to share the Georgia district that I was mentioning before. There's a short video that they've made. And give me 1 second.
Did you share your sound?
I will be sure to do that. Let's see. Okay. Can everyone hear that?
No. I don't hear the sound, so
Let's see.
When you share your screen, there's a little thing you have to click that shares sound. It's a little square, tiny box, almost invisible.
Let's see.
You might have to unshare, check it, and share it again.
Yeah, so when you go to share the screen, in the bottom right corner, it says share options, and there's a little box that says share sound.
Oh, okay. Sorry, y'all.
Welcome to my world. I'm old, you're young. I'm glad when someone young has a little tech problem because I have lots.
Okay, let's try this again. I'm gonna go to... Okay.
Over their own environment. When normally...
no.
Are we good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Over their own environment, when normally they've spent most of their lives having things done for them.
Kids with limited mobility and control often use these devices, which allows them to feel included and makes them feel like they're a lot more controlled in what they're doing.
These sensory toys will help kids that have a little difficulty with sensory processing, allow them to get a sense of relief and feel like I'm doing something and it's not too much for me.
Assistive technology toys tend to be 5 to 10 times more expensive than most. With our students making these toys, it becomes more affordable for others to enjoy the assistive technology.
The assistive technology that we have that comes from the high schoolers has really been beneficial for our classroom, especially for a few of our kids, because they really get to engage in what other typical students do not usually get to engage in. They have better accessibility to different types of toys and different types of games that they wouldn't be able to otherwise. I have one student who really has a hard time kicking the ball, wants to be really into kickball. So with some of the adaptive equipment we've gotten, they've been able to kick the ball, get it across the room, and get really excited. So it's really fun to see their excitement when they get to finally kick it and be part of the excitement.
It has been a great experience to be able to use assistive technology with our students in our alternate content standard classrooms. It allows them to not only engage in academic instruction, but in life skills activities. It allows them to not only participate in a skill that they need to learn for their lives, but also to learn to engage with their peers. It gives them an opportunity to respond, and even our students who require low tech have opportunities to do that. And through our partnership with Mr. Parker, he's given us access to materials that otherwise are too expensive for us to obtain to allow students to engage in activities.
Our students have benefited from it tremendously. The adaptive equipment that Mr. Parker's class made came in. It benefited both his students and ours and gave us a unique opportunity for our kids to grow. The students in the general ed classroom had a unique opportunity as well as ours to learn and grow. Our students have benefited by transferring skills academically. They've grown stronger physically. And also we have learned things from the students coming in as well, because we have come up with different ways to use equipment that we have on hand, like hula hoops and scooters in PE, and come up with ways to make things ourselves.
This project is probably one of my favorite that I've ever done, and to see the impact that it's had on this little boy, the fact that he has this condition and he can't do what most people can, the fact of the matter being that me and my partner here were able to help him out and give him legs pretty much, it makes me feel amazing.
Going and seeing DJ and knowing that our project was able to help him do something that he's probably never done, and that he gets to do that now pretty much every day, and how excited he got, because he just started smiling more and more, and I think he smiled the entire time we were there and the entire time he got to play.
I get to see students do things they've never done before, because other students who may have been in the same building with them a few years ago are now using their skills to create these awesome pieces of equipment.
So that's just something that I wanted to share, because I know that's something that we're trying to push here in Texas more, trying to get that collaboration going and showing the effects really of like what is the purpose of, us trying to do that in the first place.
And not just for children, it could be like in Waco, they're working with the nursing home next door to their school. So it's really just creating those relationships and fulfilling a very significant need for individuals with disabilities. It's the coolest thing ever. Thanks, Anna. Those were awesome.
And then I actually wanted to highlight one of our members, and I believe Ben.
Oh, Ben, I forgot to warn you. So Ben, this has been shown. I gave this a like because it showed up on my Facebook and who was on it, but our infamous Ben. And so we're gonna show what I keep looking every time I open Facebook now because I liked it. But it's the coolest thing ever because you sound so awesome in this video, and I'm gonna share it, and then I'm gonna let you tell about the Kaibot because I really don't know anything about it. So we're putting you on the spot, Ben. Thanks. All right, go ahead, Anna.
My name is Ben, and I teach students who are blind, and this amazing tool is something I'm adding to every single one of my week's lessons. Math, reading, coding, typing, braille literacy, you name it. Thank you so much for the opportunity with this thing, and my students, thank you too. My name is Ben, and I teach...
Okay. All right, there you go. All right, now Ben, what is it? Tell us.
Kaibots are a coding tool. And so when I first came across them, I thought, well, that's not really going to benefit my students, right? Because I work with the blind, visually impaired, and deafblind kiddos. And I was so wrong about that. Getting to interact with them and play with them and getting to know the creators of them. He's blind in one of his eyes and was always kind of left out in school. And during COVID, he was tired of seeing kids in our field get left out. So he created these. They have these little scanning, these coding cards, step-by-step directions. Really, it's just teaching them directionality, but they're learning to code. They call this one that you're seeing here screen-free, so they don't have an iPad or a computer or anything in front of them. They're just scanning and watching this device move around. And they graduate through different skills to where they don't need these cards They can do it all on the computer, on a tablet. They can play games with their friends and exchange their codes that they've made. These devices, there's auditory feedback, they have tactile feedback. It's really cute to play with them. And you make it a maze. One of my favorite things is you can put a little oil spill down there, and it reminds me of Mario Kart when he hits a banana or something. It goes spinning around and it makes the noise for it. These
Oh, and
Kaibots
so
are
I'm going to be investing in a Kaibot pretty soon because I'm already intrigued. So I think that's going to make me a better grandma when my grandsons get to play with that.
Well, I'll be down at the service center. I don't, it's not on my calendar right now. I have it on my calendar, but I think June or July. I want to say June though. And I'm doing a whole session on them. So come on over.
Oh, I'll
It'll be
take it.
down in Houston.
I'll take the session and we can go out to dinner.
I'll be down. Let's do this.
Perfect. You're in my neck of the
Just not
woods.
downtown parking garage somewhere.
Yeah, well,
We're good without that.
yeah, well, you don't want to follow my lead down here because this is not my open territory.
Oh.
Anyways, but that was awesome. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. And then with that,
My name is
I'm going to pass it over to Shannon for the next part of the meeting.
And then we only have about 5 minutes, but we always want playability is just adapted software. So these will both be in the link. And then once again, the enabling access is another project, just like what Anna showed, and it's Miami students doing the same kind of thing. They're doing some challenges. So we're going to leave those for you to be able to read about since we're down on this last 5 minutes. But because we want to make sure that everyone has a chance to comment, because that's what this is about, not us talking to you, but us all. I know that we have someone new from Huddle. Did I say that right? School district. So let's move. Yeah. And tell us, how did you find out about us?
Just kind of research around the web. Hutto's right outside of the Austin area, and so
Nice.
Mhm.
And then you said you're an AT specialist there?
I'm the assistant director of special education, but I also have a dual role of AT specialist, and I support our speech language pathologists.
Game on. So one of the things that we're trying to do is really partner special education programs with STEM programs so that we're working smarter, not harder, just like that story that Anna just showed. So if you need any support on that, please reach out to us, because this Padlet that they have, that and I think they just put the Padlet in the link, has a lot of resources that you can take forward.
Great, thank you.
No, thank you. Let's move forward. Anybody have anything else to share? And why is Shannon downtown Houston? Because Shannon is meeting with TechFest Live because we're trying to build an assistive technology strand on some of the computer competitions. So I just met with some of the leaders here in Texas to support our goal on building makerspaces and making makerspaces more aware of what assistive technology is. So it's just chipping away. And so we're so glad that everyone is here, because each one of you is just that voice to take it to somebody else. And that's pretty powerful. Anybody else have any projects or comments about what Hope shared, or the school, or any of the gadgets that they've seen? Any thoughts on any of those?
I guess I'll go for a second.
Yay.
So to our new members, I guess my name's Will. I'm from South Carolina, and I make a multi-purpose, tray, essentially, that can basically go around any shape and size object. So I would love to get some feedback. So if y'all wouldn't mind sending me an email, I'd love to send y'all one just to get some feedback. And I think Ben is probably my best testimonial, because he in Region 11 bought 12 or 20 boards to test. So I'd love to send y'all a board on the house and just get some honest feedback from y'all. So you're happy, or I'm more than happy to not send it to you, but I'd rather send it to you. So yeah, if you just wouldn't mind sending me an email, or just putting your email here in the chat.
Did you put your email in the chat so they can email you?
I was about to do that. You were one step ahead of my keystrokes, but yes, ma'am. Here it is.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's just me asking for more help, which would be greatly appreciated.
Very nice. We're chipping away together. All right, any other comments for anyone? All right, let's go ahead and move forward. All right, so the wrap up, some comments. Our next meeting is going to be March 17th. We opened, I think we shared that slide at the beginning, but the call for proposals is open. Hint, hint, Ben, hint, hint, Ben. Oh, no, that's for closing the gap. Sorry. Ben, we want you to present at ours. And then the other places we're going, Ann and I will be presenting at the Texas Library Association because we want to get more public libraries doing some maker activities, some assistive technology maker activities. And then we're starting, Dr. Lee is now working at the TXRX lab, so we're hoping to build a relationship with that. So for you, Hope, if you go to this, although I think they already put the TXRX lab's email or information in there, we're hoping to have more of a relationship with TXRX labs moving forward. All right, next slide. And then go back one. Yeah, don't forget the Padlet. So if you don't have a, this is hard because if you're already on a device, it's got the QR code, but it also has the link, and she put the link in. But we'll put this. You're welcome to like download that and share it with anybody. This Padlet is all just open resources, and if you find something to add to the Padlet, please send it to me and Ann or Anna, and we'll add it to the Padlet. Move forward. And then some of the articles, and I've not updated it in a while, I've been a little on the busy side, but there are some non-open source articles that we share, but we ask you not to download them or share them, but to read them, because through information, we grow better together. And the next slide, there we are. We just keep moving together, chipping away one step at a time, and through all of this, we get somewhere. So once we're together and once we're making these little incremental changes, we actually move forward together and we make a big difference. So thank you so much for everyone. And that's the Mustang that Will was talking about. Mine has wheels, but it doesn't have that pretty color yet, but it will one day. And I think that's all we have for today. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. And we
hopefully
hope to
this
see you back.
yeah, hopefully this new time is good for everyone. So.
And thank you, Nico and Anna, for getting this started, because I was walking like a lost soul through the wrong garage.
Oh, and thank you again, Hope, for presenting your awesome presentation. Really, we love to have you, and we would love for you to come, and also Braden, if he ever is able to come in the future, we would love to have y'all join us again.
Yeah,
drop in whenever.
Thank you. Thank you guys for listening.
And Hope, we'll try to set up a meeting with Dr. Lee so that you can kind of see what they're about, because they've got some really cool things there. So thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I'll try to get Dr. James to come as well, because I'm sure he'd be interested.
Yeah, I meet with him usually. My schedule's been a little crazy, and they have a monthly roundtable meeting that I try to come to. And so I do meet with Bill, and yeah, he's awesome. So
sweet. Okay.
So, and tell him Shannon Page said hello.
Okay, I will. And thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Everybody.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Happy Lunar Year.
Have a great year, everybody.
Enjoy the gambling.
Happy Lunar New Year.